Go. Welcome back, baseball fans. Today is Sunday, December 11th. This is episode 18 of Bourbon and Baseball. And as you can see, well, maybe not if you're listening. Sorry about that. My YouTube people, as you can see, we have Rob and Tom from AstrosBaseballPodcast. Obviously, neither one of those is my typical podcast partner, the beautiful Shelby. She's no longer on the IL. She has just deserted me to go on a vacation to Vegas. So yeah, right. I told her to go find Tuck and Brantley and Bregman and all of them and make friends. But
I thought you were saying she deserted you forever.
No.
The suspense was real there.
Yeah, no. She just deserted me for the weekend or for the week, I guess. But so I appreciate y'all coming on and pinch hitting for Shelby. Look at me with the baseball ref. I'm so punny. I'm delightful. Oh, where's my sound? Hold on. I'm gonna do it. It's gonna be. See, there we go. It makes me happy now that I've figured out there's a soundboard. Anyway, so, but I appreciate y'all coming on and filling in for Shelby. I almost said pinch hitting again, and that was gonna be too much. So, Rob, I know that you're drinking coffee because you had a little late night. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Tom, are you gonna join in on the drinks?
I believe I'm going to stick to just H2O.
Just to the wall. Okay, fine.
I plan to work out today, so I try to do the responsible thing and not drink and then go work out. Go into the sauna, sweat it all out. People are like, "Man, this guy just came from the bar." Try really hard not to do that.
Look, sir, we're trying to have fun here. I need no adult responsibilities today. All right, like that's not a thing that we do. But I need to be responsible today. But maybe we'll just be responsible with a little bit of alcohol in me because this is the Bourbon and Baseball podcast. So I am going to try for the viewers at home the Baker's Kentucky Straight Bourbon Whiskey, single barrel. 107 proof, and I think that's gonna burn.
107 on a Sunday morning.
I think it's gonna burn. And by try it, I really mean like I'm gonna pour just a tiny bit into this glass. I'm going to taste it and make an awful face, and then I'm gonna finish because I'm an adult. And this is my own podcast, and I make the fucking rules around here. I'm gonna finish with a Bloody Mary because Bloody Marys apparently are more acceptable to drink on a Sunday morning than, like a thing of bourbon. So that's
and mimosas.
And mimosas, right?
That's a classy thing to do if you want to keep your drunk going.
Right? Well, and also no one has ever accused me of being classy, Tom. So nope. So the two things that people have never accused me of, being classy and being an adult now. So it's going to be bad. I'm going to be an adult though. I'm not going to make a face. Probably going to make a face. It's going to happen.
Not a face. That's not a face.
It's not as horrible as I thought it was going to be. It's still spicy though. That's still spicy.
So is this something you can find in your local specs? Was it top shelf? Was it, price range? What are we talking here?
No, I have no idea because I got it as a birthday present. I got three bottles of bourbon for my birthday a couple of weeks ago. And this was one of them. So for the listeners, it's Baker's, like I said, Baker's Kentucky Straight Bourbon, single barrel, 107 proof. So I actually don't know which of my friends gave this to me, but apparently there's a 7-year minimum that it was aged. It's decent. It's not as spicy as the last one. I think last week I tried the 1792 or something, and that was like drinking straight diesel. So that was not fun. So, but today we are going to talk about not all of the free agents because there's been a lot, but we are going to talk about the notable free agents around the league and kind of who's left. And I know we're not going to get to all of them, dear listeners, because there's a ton. And I mean, really, do you care where Austin Hedges signs? Like, no, right? We don't. So we're not, no disrespect to you, Austin Hedges. If by chance, some miracle you'd listen to this, I don't know why you would, but if you, for some reason, hear about this, it's not that we don't like you. It's just Austin Hedges. What? So, so we are going to start off by talking about Trey Turner to the Phillies for 13 years. It's a long time, right?
No, 11 years.
11 years. Who got 13 years?
I don't know that anybody got 13 years.
Am I thinking Bryce Harper for 13 years? Is that what I'm thinking?
That may be true. That may be true.
All right.
Turner got 300. 11 years, 300 million.
That's Paul's insane.
It will, because he'll be 40 when that contract expires.
That is, well, I mean, but even Trey Turner at kind of his middling range of speed will still be really freaking fast, right?
Yeah, I wonder if his hit tool will transfer, as he gets older. Clearly, I think he'll still be a good defender. I still think he'll steal bags, that sort of thing. He's a slender built dude. I don't think he's going to put on a ton of weight, like an outfielder or first baseman would. So I think he'll still play that contract out. It won't be like Albert Pujols where people are like, should we play him? Should we not? He's DHing like every fifth day or something. So I don't think it's a terrible deal, because you really went out and got a premier shortstop in a position of need for the Phillies, who were, a handful of games away from winning the World Series.
I don't know what you're talking about, Tom. I mean, Gene Segura was delightful over there. Why are you not putting the respect on Gene Segura's name, Tom? Jeez, it's rude.
I feel like between the two, there's a big gap between the two, and that's as respectful as I can be with it.
No, I'm just kidding. Well, Gene Segura, we also love you. However, there is a sizable gap difference between Trey Turner and Gene Segura. So, how long do you think he's going to play that position, though?
That's a great question. I mean, honestly, you look at some of the shortstops right now, and now that they're doing away with the shift, I wonder if he's going to have to be as rangy. Probably most of that contract. I would say probably 8 of the 11 years, probably.
You think he's going to play his shortstop for 8 years?
I do.
Wow.
Like you said, he's really fast now.
He is really fast. But
he's not the only one that got 11 years. Everybody's signing these shortstops.
Yeah. Xander got... Oh, poor Xander. We're going to talk about Xander. I feel bad for Red Sox
I don't want to skip, because people do that to me. I'm like, you're reading all my notes here, guy.
Red Sox fans are in shambles. We're gonna get back to that. Thanks, Rob. Goodness. No, I'm just kidding. I love you, Rob.
I just said other people got 11. I didn't mention any names.
I was reading your mind, Rob. We have mind melded even with my bourbon. Drink? Yes. So, I mean, really, they know that they're not going to get all production of the years, and that. So, as a new-ish person in the baseball game, seeing these contracts, not realizing that they're only going to pay for like the beginning portions of those contracts. So, if anybody is just now getting into baseball, seeing all these huge contracts and thinking, oh my gosh, what is going on? They're realistically. Players or teams are not paying for that entire contract, right? They realize the production will fall off as they get older. So, and at that point, Dave Dombrowski's like, I don't got to deal with it. It's fine. Not going to be here. So,
they want to win now.
Right. But the Phillies, though, did, I guess, quote unquote, steal him away, right? Other teams offered him more money, more years. But Trey Turner said, I'm good. I'm going to go back and I'm going to play with my buddy, Bryce Harper.
I know you were talking about, poor X, Y, and Z free agent, but if you really want to get like to a feel bad situation for anyone, it should be poor Padres. The Padres tried desperately to throw tons of money at multiple free agents. They said, please take all our money, all of it. We want to give all our money away. And everybody was like politely, nah, I'm cool on that. Yeah, that's crazy to me.
Yeah. I don't know what that's about. I mean, No, I do know what that's about. That's really the first two that they threw their money at had the idea of where they wanted to play, had their idea, right? Like, and they got the Padres were just like, cool, we can't make you a better offer. I mean, we did make you a better offer, but you don't want to play here. Apparently, money doesn't mean a thing to you. And I heard a crazy thing. Someone had said something about. So this is going to lead into the second one that we're going to talk about. Aaron Judge not wanting to go to the Padres and turning down a $400 million contract, right? $400 million, and taking $360 from the Yankees. And I heard someone say that once you get up there in those stratosphere kind of numbers, what's $40 million? $40 million is nothing. Like that's I'm sorry, $40 million is still a lot of fucking money. What? But they're like, no. But I mean, comparatively, 360 to 4, I don't care. Like, at that point, I understand that generational wealth and blah, blah, blah. Kids are going to have the money. But still, that's $40 million. That's a lot of bourbon you could buy, or, like.
He
the whole
chose to stay with
company.
the Yankees. It cost him $40 million to stay with the Yankees.
To stay with the Yankees. To do what?
Because they didn't get better.
They didn't get better.
Spend all that money and you're the same team you were last year.
They didn't get better. I don't know if they got worse. Did they get worse? I don't think they got worse.
Well, they
still
did
have Josh
because
Donaldson and IKF on there, so.
Oof. They did because some of their free agents did leave town. So the roster that they ended the season with is now less than it was when it started.
That's true. Okay. But Aaron Judge going back to the Yankees. Okay, so maybe you guys know. The whole, Aaron Judge is going to get the C on his chest, blah, blah, blah. That means a lot. Is that, so I understand that Derek Jeter was the last quote-unquote captain, the last guy to wear the C on the chest. Is that some unwritten, spoken rule that I, as a baseball fan coming in 2018, I'm not aware of? Can y'all explain that to me?
For the Yankees, I think they've only had 9 captains in their history that spans over 100+ years. So it's
not bestowed upon anybody. Is that okay?
And it's weird too because I don't know how they get to that point. People just say it. It's a perception thing. I don't know if the clubhouse kind of like, oh yeah, he's our captain because he's the highest paid dude. Garrett Cole came in, signed for $324 million, and they didn't put the C on his chest.
But really, do you want Kermit the Frog as your captain? That was very mean. I'm so sorry, Garrett Cole.
No, you don't. But I'm just saying, yeah, must be some good
bourbon
stuff.
makes me mean, apparently.
Right. No punches. But yeah, I think that they use that as a bargaining tool. If legacy is this thing, which he came out later and said legacy meant something to him, to be a captain for the New York Yankees is like one of the highest honors that you can be bestowed upon in Major League Baseball because it's so few and far between.
So apparently legacy is worth $40 million to Aaron Judge. That's what that equates in my mind. But that is mind-boggling to me that someone would leave $40 million on the table to go to the Yankees. And I'm very sorry, Yankee fans, but come on now. Really? Like, cannot.
Did it ever come out what San Francisco offered him?
It did. It was the same 360.
Oh, okay.
The interesting thing about the $400
for the same amount of years?
Yes.
Sorry, Tom. Oh.
Yes. The interesting thing about the $400 million contract that supposedly the Padres offered, there's been stuff floating around since then that said that MLB, whoever, would have came out and vetoed that. Like, they could not have signed him for that money. And I haven't got the reason why. I just saw that. And it was like one of those things, you're scrolling through Twitter and like, oh, wow. And then I kind of brushed it aside because I like Kevin Durant said when they asked Kevin Durant, I'm a fan of a different baseball team. I could absolutely care less about Aaron Judge. Kevin Durant, when they asked Kevin Durant about Aaron Judge, he goes, I'm a Nationals fan. I absolutely do not care about Aaron Judge. And I thought that was the greatest thing ever. So I felt the same way when I read that.
That's amazing. That's so weird. I'm going to have to look that up. maybe I'm going to have to look that up if I remember to after we record. So Aaron Judge back to the Yankees, and I mean, I don't think they got any better by signing Aaron Judge. They would have been remarkably worse had they not signed Aaron Judge, but I don't think they got any quote unquote better. So moving on from the Yankees, let's talk about the poor fathers, San Diego Padres, that could not sign anybody apparently except for Xander Bogaerts, who the Red Sox said, that's cool. Homegrown, one of our stars that people will come to see. You can go to the Padres. Do you guys know the actual offer that the Red Sox, like the final offer that the Red Sox gave him? All I heard was that it wasn't even close.
I heard that it was like drastically low. Like they only offered him supposedly 180 million. And so when you think about it, like if he is your guy, much in the same vein, Aaron Judge was the Yankees guy, they probably shouldn't have been outbid by a Padres team who's already committed over $100 million to other players.
Right.
So I think it's kind of bad. It's a bad look on the Red Sox. They really have to go and do something now to like reassure the fan base, like, look, we're not tanking. You've got Rafael Devers, who's also coming up on his turn.
Right. But didn't they say that didn't Devers basically say that, hey, if X isn't back, you could probably kiss me goodbye. Like I'm gone. And quite honestly, if I were him, that looking at the track record, I mean, they got rid of Mookie. They obviously got rid of X, and now Rafi's like, well, I'm not going to get my money. And they signed, who did they sign? Yoshida for 5 years, $90 million. So Chaim Bloom's just over here blowing things up. And apparently through all of the, I don't want to say rumors, reports of MLB execs and scouts and whatnot, apparently the Red Sox overpaid. Oh, excuse me. Sorry.
Time to get up.
That is the reminder to take my medication so that I can somewhat pay attention through the afternoon.
So I wanted to add something here, if it's okay.
Yes, Rob.
So we're
okay.
talking about the Padres, throwing money at everybody, and they already have some huge name guys with huge contracts. It's like they're trying to win the World Series. And as an Astro fan, if you remember when McCullers started in the World Series, 9 out of 10 Astros have never worn another uniform. So the Astros are winning without doing these contracts.
Huge contracts. Oh yeah, no. The majority of our starting rotation now, the majority of our roster are all in arbitration. in some different level of arbitration, and our payroll is obviously not as high as some other payrolls. And we have the greatest amount of homegrown players. 17, 16? I'm going to have to look that up and fact check myself. But it's some crazy number. And, that says something about I'm going to infer that says something about the culture of the Astros, and that the Astros want these players to come up, and they've shown a willingness to pay. But they've also shown a willingness to say, all right, well, we don't want to sign a long-term contract. So if that's what you're looking for, unfortunately, you're probably going to have to look elsewhere. But if you are worth the money, we will pay you. So I think that's something to be said about the winning culture of our boys and our clubhouse. And I do feel bad for the Red Sox. I don't know what Chaim Bloom is doing over there, but then again, I don't know what they expected hiring someone from the Rays organization, right? Like, you sign someone from the Rays organization, I don't know why you didn't think he wasn't going to spend the big bucks. Or maybe that's just me. What do y'all think?
No. I mean, I think Jim Crane had the same idea. He went and pulled a guy from the Rays organization when he went and got James Click, realized that he wasn't going to, go out there and be aggressive in the free agent market in the same way that he would like them to be, and cut bait, and is literally doing deals with, 3 assistant guys. And if we want to segue into the Astros free agent that they acquired, did a pretty good job.
We'll end with the Astros. I want to go around the league kind of, and we'll end with our boys. But so Xander signing with the Padres. I don't know if Xander signing with the Padres as shortstop moves Ha-Seong Kim over to second, who had been playing short, and now when Tatis comes back, moves Tatis to the outfield. My question, as a Padres fan, are you, PED issue aside, are you coming to watch Fernando Tatis Jr. in the outfield? Do you think he's going to be as electric out there? I guess
I
that's
don't
my
really
question.
keep up with the Padres, but what I heard that he wasn't even very good shortstop anyway. So
I disagree.
Rob from the top row.
I don't watch any other teams, but I'm just saying that's what someone told me, that he's not that good of a shortstop anyway. He's a good hitter. He's a good hitter. But I don't know. I don't know.
I think he has the ability to make great plays. Do I think he makes them at the rate that he probably should, a la Carlos Correa, a la Jeremy Pena? Probably not. Something about him throwing his body just at, that position is what got him injured in the first place. And I think that's the reason they moved him to the outfield, to preserve his bat, because he's a above average hitter. And I think he's still going to be athletic in the outfield. It just won't require him to be as
athletic.
Well, I don't want to say that because that's not fair to outfielders, but I think
and the National League has the DH now.
I'm sorry, outfielders.
Right.
You're very athletic.
Chaz would like a word, but
may I present my brand on TikTok? Okay. Now, I don't want to brag, but it's gotten over 500 likes, which is like 498 more likes than I've ever gotten on TikTok. So I'm pretty much famous and viral now. So I'm just kidding. Chaz McCormick, I love you. You should be our center fielder. You have earned that. I am a Chaz McCormick stan. Don't put that on me, Tom. I see you over there.
My very first TikTok video went viral, and I can never get to that again.
We're gonna come back to that, Rob, because I need to know what you posted on TikTok to go viral. But I want Tom to finish his thought. We're gonna come back. Oh.
I just think it's going to preserve him a little bit better. Shortstop requires you to get down into your on your knees, running through people at the bag, that kind of thing, hopping around guys. The outfield's really not like that. I think, as you've seen with Jordan being out there and Tuck, you can kind of do, as long as you're reading the ball off the bat well, you can kind of do just enough to get the job done. I believe he's got an above average arm, so it translates well out that way too. And if it's going to keep him healthy, that's probably the biggest thing, because that lineup now, all jokes aside about the 17 shortstops they have, 1 through 4 is really potent.
That is potent. Let's talk about 1 through 4 for the people who don't actually follow the Padres. So who is there? Wait, hold on. I'm going to try and do this from memory. It's not working. I know Manny Machado is up there. Will Myers will be lower. Will Myers is a free agent. Don't listen to me. I'm dumb. Will Myers is a free agent. So Jake Cronenworth will be up there.
I think he'd be their leadoff. It'd be Cronenworth, then Tatis, then X, then Machado.
So let's see. Well, Jerkson Profar is a free agent. Will Myers is a free agent. Trent Grisham.
That's another one.
Trent Grisham. Superstar postseason Trent Grisham. unfortunately, will probably be in the 8 or 9 hole. Who's your catcher though? It's not Jorge or Alfaro. Who's their main catcher? Why am I blanking on that?
I don't know. I like I said, the top of their lineup is going to be really, really potent. I really can't speak to like all the other little ins and outs, but 1 through 4, you're definitely gonna have to deal with them.
That's true. Where's Juan Soto batting? Is Juan Soto 5th?
Juan Soto probably 1, 2, 3, 4. Juan Soto leads off. I totally forgot about Juan Soto. There you go.
Well, that's not to say anything about your popularity, Juan Soto. I'm very sorry. Let's see.
It says
he's only
Austin
22
Nola
years
is
old.
their catcher.
Austin Nola is their catcher. Jake Cronenworth is up first. Ha-Sung Kim, second and short. Manny. Let's see. Okay. Jose Azocar is left field. Trent Grisham is center, and then Juan Soto in right. Okay, so when Tatis comes back, he'll obviously slot into left. So Jose Azocar will be their utility bench guy for the outfield, essentially. So I mean, it is not as quote unquote potent or as deep as I guess one would like. I mean, because Astros are over here creating the MLB The Show freaking roster, so we're not going to compare it to the Astros roster as of right now. But their 1 through 4 will be awesome, especially if Juan Soto. Oh, that was mean. I don't want to say that. That's not
Play up to his money. Play up to his contract.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Or learn how to field. I'm sorry, Juan Soto. That's not nice. But you don't deserve a Gold Glove out there. Come on now, like we all know this, right? Okay. So regardless, Padres have gotten a little bit better, but obviously they will have to contend with the NL East, which we'll get there too. So Wilson Contreras to the Cardinals. How do you? I mean, offensively, he will be better than Yachty. But that is not what they paid Yachty for. They paid Yachty to be that defensive, run the pitchers, play the calls, call the plays. There we go. Words are hard. So do you think the Cardinals signing Wilson Contreras for 5 years was a good, bad, or fair to middling signing?
Good.
I think it was a great signing for them. I think it really addressed a position.
Well, that wasn't an option, Tom.
I had to make up my own. I was
going to say great too, but that wasn't an option.
Tom said, "You know what, Suzy? Fuck your options. We're going to go off script here, and this is what we're going to do." That's okay. We like that. We like going off script on this podcast. That's all right. Let's go, Tom. Explain yourself.
I mean, they clearly had no one at catcher, right? No one of note. It wasn't like the Astros, where the Astros clearly were going to have a 1-2 punch, and then they were even going to probably have to move Contreras around so that you still played Maldi 70% of the time or whatever, where he can go into St. Louis and just be the guy from day one and play as many games as they can possibly let him. Obviously they take a step back on defense, but you take a step forward on offense, and that team looks like on paper like they're going to be really good. So in a division where the Cubs aren't that great, the Brewers, they needed to do that.
So here's the question then. Since there will be the new rules in effect for next season, the bigger bases, 2, the pitch clock, 3, only 2 pickoffs to first base. I feel like being a defensive catcher at this point next season will be more important than the bat. Especially with the I don't want to call it quote unquote banning the shift, but the positioning the players where they need to be. Do you think the Cardinals defense will be Better or worse? Those are your only two options, Tom.
Worse.
Better
Gotcha.
or worse?
I think they'll be worse.
So, I mean, I'm going to go out on a limb and say there will be a ton of stolen bases on Wilson Contreras. I'm not going to put a number on it, but I'm going to say a ton.
I believe that the league by large is going to have like stolen bases crazy everywhere. I think part of the reason why it probably benefited the Phillies, to sign Trey Turner is because you're probably going to see somebody steal north of 50 bags next year. Because if you enlarge these bags and then you limit the time you can pick over, like you basically neutralize the catcher. So I can't see the era of, catchers gunning down, high number guys being a thing anymore. You just made it so much easier to steal bags and increase offense.
On one hand, I'm very excited for this because I need to see how many bags that Kyle Tucker can steal. I need to see this. I need to see this in my lifetime. I need to see how many bags Kyle Tucker can steal. And sneakily, I think Jose Altuve is going to steal all of the bags. And I'm whispering that because I don't want it out there. But I think Jose Altuve is going to steal all of the bags next season.
But I think you need to tell the fan base, if he gets caught, you need to be okay. Because if we go nuts about him getting picked off on second base,
That's fair. That's fair.
Jose Altuve base running is a thing. So
look, I'm not saying that I have posted on Twitter that Jose Altuve needs to go back to base running school. But if you look deep enough, there may be a tweet or two with the WTF Jose Altuve. But I would like to say, I'm going to put it out right here, right now. Kyle Tucker goes 30-30 next season. That is my hot take. We may clip that for whatever on social medias, if I can find it again in this. That's my hot take. Kyle Tucker goes 30-30 next season. Fingers crossed that Jeremy Pena and Jose Altuve. In my head, I was like, did you just say the right name? Follow him into getting more bags. So, Rob, what were you going to say?
So I knew the numbers improved, but I had to look them up for you because I didn't know the exact numbers. But before the trial in minor league baseball about the pickoffs, the stolen bait race was 68% and it went up to 77%. That's the change.
Everyone's going to be stealing all of the bags. Chas McCormick is going to be stealing bags. Chas McCormick, steal all the bags, sir. You widen out your stance, you're going to get on base. I feel it. I feel it deep down in my
They're doing all this
core.
stuff to speed the game up, but there's going to be so many runs scored that it's going to be the same. But it's sped it up in minor leagues, but we'll see. It's
going to be delightful. I'm very excited for it. I am not of that mindset of, I take that back. Pitching does win games. However, I would much rather see a 43-point game than a 0-point game. Okay. And obviously I'm being facetious on that, but we like it, right? We like offense. We like home runs. We like stolen bases. And so I kind of see where MLB is coming from. Now, caveat to that, MLB, Rob Manfred, stop fucking with the balls. We're going to talk about Goldilocks balls too. I forgot about the Goldilocks balls until just this very second. So we'll add on to the Goldilocks balls after we get through the free agents, but we're gonna circle back to that.
That's
because
insane.
We have to talk about all of the Goldilocks balls and all of the ridiculousness that is going on with this. But we got off chart. I am a horrible host, and we went off track. But that's
We're
okay.
horrible guests. It's our fault.
You are not horrible. No one saw me shaking my head. I'm sorry, listeners. You did not see me shaking my head. I have to say, no, you are not horrible guests. You are delightful guests that are, I was going to say delightful again. I can't use the word delightful. You are amazing guests that are delightful. There we go. Those are the words that I would like to say. So let's go back. We ended with Wilson Contreras to the Cards, and that's where we derailed ourselves because we were talking about defense. So let's talk about the Mets defense, right? So they signed Brandon Nimmo back again to center field. There was a big hubbaloo. I don't know. Words are hard. There was a big thing with the Astros wanting to sign Brandon Nimmo to the Astros because apparently Chas McCormick has not proved himself enough to be our center fielder. And to that I say, I'm trying to think of how harsh I would go.
You went viral on that already.
I did.
It was awesome, by the way.
Chas McCormick has earned the right to be your center fielder. There we go. That's what I'm going to say. Will Brandon Nimmo be a better defensive center fielder? Yes. Is that worth his price tag? To that I say no. And the years. Because he signed with the Mets for 8 years, right? 8 years. Let's see. What was that? Brandon Nimmo, 8 years for $1 gajillion. No, I'm just kidding.
Well, he wasn't coming here for that.
It's like 162, right? Something like that?
Something ridiculous. Something that you look at the Astros and you're like, yeah, just kidding. You're not going to pay
the
that.
Astros probably offered him 2 years and $40 million.
8 years, like 162. 8 years, 162. And Brandon Nimmo is not your spring chicken. He's a little bit on the older side. I say that as a 40-year-old on the downhill slide. So I take offense to that. However, 8 years, 162, how many more great years is Brandon Nimmo as a center fielder going to have? Not that many. Right? And not for 162. But I mean, shout out to you, Stevie Cohen, for saying, fuck the luxury tax. I'm going to buy whoever I want to buy. And I'm going to forfeit all of the prospects because I'm going to just buy them later on when they're good. But that's what he did, right? So in center field, Brandon Nimmo for the Mets. Congratulations, Mets. You signed a semi-old guy to the position that he already played. I think. Yes. Because Starling Marte is not going to move over there. Right?
Yeah, I think the Mets have clearly said, look, we're going to push every last chip that we can find into the center. They are all the way in. I mean, they're signing whoever they can sign. They're trading for whoever they can sign. They're really trying to load that club up. It'll be interesting to see what they do in that NL East because they still could be the third best team in that division. And it's crazy to say because they've spent over $300 million to do it.
I mean, Uncle Steve basically said, I see your luxury tax and I say, fuck it all, let's go. That's essentially what he said because there is an entire level that the owners nicknamed the Steve Cohen level. And he just blew right past it.
I read something that said they're going to pay as much in luxury tax as 5 other teams pay for their entire salaries.
Yeah.
Just in taxes. That's how far they're over. They pay more over than 5 other teams, not just their payroll, their penalties for going over.
And again, as a peasant, my brain cannot computate. That's not an actual word, but whatever. I've had enough bourbon in me that I don't care anymore. My brain cannot calculate that the amount of money that is, right? Because obviously we will never be millionaires, let alone billionaires. But I saw something on Twitter that said that the Mets payroll is worth like 2% of his entire worth or something. And that just boggles my mind.
He doesn't care.
Yeah, no. He just says,
Luckily,
you know what? We're just the monopoly man with a monocle at this point. I'm going to spend all my money.
Luckily for the Astros, all this money we've been talking about so far is in the National League. So it's not interrupting our road to the World Series. It's just these guys are all going to have to beat each other with their wallets, big wallets.
Exactly.
They're going to have big wallets like Star Wars.
Right. Well, I mean, I'm glad that they get to sit on their wallets and add it. Never mind. So they also signed Justin Verlander away from the Astros. On one hand, I tip my cap. I say, thank you for your service, Justin Verlander. Go get your bag. I have 1000% respect for the amount of work that you put in here in the Astros organization. I have the utmost respect for that. But what really just gets my goat is the fact that he came out and just said that he signed with the Mets for their winning mentality. And just, I have all of the feelings for that.
That same quote got me too.
Sir,
Go ahead.
I'm trying to refrain myself from just going on all of the just saying just a string of cuss words and trying to actually make coherent sentences.
Well, let me speak to the other side then, because I understand what he was trying to say.
Okay.
And I know everybody just hears it like, what? Wait, what? If you wanted to win, you'd stay in Houston.
Exactly.
Let's be clear. Yeah. I think you tweeted that out. But
I'm listening, Tom. I'm listening.
But let's be clear. When he said that, he meant their willingness to pay to win, their willingness to spend to win. And that is something that is not wrong if you want to go make your bag. Now, supposedly the rumor was that the Astros went to $80 million on him, but that they would not go to a third year. Justin has been very outspoken about, I want to pitch till I'm 45 or whatever. So for them willing to say, we will, with our wallet, we will give you what you want to win. It's kind of what I feel like he's saying. Is he comparing that to the Astros or anyone else? No, not at all. Not at all. And I think everybody knows that Justin wanted to win here. It was clear in the contract he took before, which isn't getting enough talk, that he took basically a show me deal, the hometown discount, so to speak, because he could have went out and probably got the same money last year.
I don't think he could have though. I honestly don't think that he could have. That is, I mean, I see your point, Tom. I definitely see your point. But coming off of Tommy John being 9,000 years old, and again, I say that with the utmost respect and love for Justin Verlander because I also am 40. I don't think that a lot of clubs would have taken the flyer on Justin Verlander coming back from Tommy John. I don't think anybody, I don't even think the Astros really and truly believed that he could put up the numbers that he did this year. I mean, 175 innings at 1.75 ERA. No one thought that. I mean, that is better than his best MVP year, right? I certainly did not think that he was going to do that in his return season. So again, I say, Justin Verlander, I tip my cap because you are an amazing pitcher. I tip my cap also for your work ethic and the fact that you came back after Tommy John being this old. And I say this old, again in quotes, because, whatever. But let's be honest. No one expected 39-year-old Justin Verlander to come back and have the best season of his freaking career, right? I would have much more respect for Justin Verlander if he just said, look, Astros, winning club. Mets are willing to pay all of the monies for all of the peoples, and I want to get paid. I would have had much more respect for that than for him to be like, I signed with the Mets because I want to win ball games. Fuck you. No, you don't. If you wanted to win ball games, you would have stayed here because let's be freaking honest. That infield defense for the Mets is going to cost you some runs, JV. I think the only saving grace is that you were going to the NL where, most players haven't seen you, most hitters haven't seen you. So maybe that will save you. But that infield defense, it's going to cost you something. It's going to cost you something because the Mets infield defense is not, you cannot tell me that you trust Escobar over there at third base. Right? Am I alone in this thinking?
No, not
we
at
have
all.
an awesome infield. So my point on this story, and Tom knows, and if you follow me on Twitter, you know, because I tweeted out, if you cared about winning, just stay there. But I didn't know they offered him 2 years, $40 million each. Because the thing that I go back to, and I haven't talked about this on our podcast because I don't want to get too negative, but
You just pull all the negativity over here, Rob. That's okay.
But
Do it. Just do it.
he pitched one game in 2 seasons and made like $66 million. And if the team he's with that went to the World Series 4 out of 6 years, won 2 World Series, offered you 2 years, $80 million, and you're committed to winning, that's the contract you take. But you're committed to yourself. You're committed to yourself getting paid. You're not committed to winning.
Okay. See, thank you, Rob. Thank you. $3 million versus $40 million, a little bit different. A little bit different. Thank you, Rob.
He has that extra 35, right? If he pitches 140 innings in 2024, then in 2025 he has that. If he pitched good 2 more years with the Astros at $40 million, he could get another 35 here. I think the Astros will keep paying him as long as he's good. But he went for he all he cares about is himself and his money. That's it. He didn't care about. He was on the best team in baseball. He's on the best team in baseball. Framber Valdez,
Tom is
Christian
holding back
Javier,
all of the
Lance
words.
McCullers Jr., Kyle Tucker, Bregman, Altuve. Just keep going on and on. He was on the best team in baseball, and they gave him his 2 years, $80 million. There's no reason to leave.
Look,
except greed.
Again, I say, Justin Verlander, that's totally fine. Go get your bag. You deserve the opportunity to go get your bag. You pitch your ass off. Literally, for the Astros. I understand. I get it. But then don't turn around and say that it's because of don't do it. Don't do it. And I understand the point that you made, Tom. And so maybe it was worded poorly. Maybe he just needs to come back and word it proper. I don't know. But if you wanted to win, you would have stayed here.
I just don't think he could sit up there and say, I'm here to get my bag, folks. I know I was on the World Series team. I know you guys know, my stuff's good. I won the Cy Young, and I'm just here to get paid.
He could have said, look, I'm 39 years old, and I want the longest contract I can get. But
that's what this says. This says that with them.
But you can't say I'm committed to winning when you just got offered $80 million by the World Series team that you've been with already. That paid you for 2 years for one game.
You can say that. You can say that if the team is built to win. It's not like he went to the Royals for the biggest bag. He went to a team.
That's true.
He went to a team that's going to arguably compete for a World Series in the National League.
He went to a team that's trying to buy one, yes.
I like that 100%. You threw the Royals underneath the bus.
100%. It's not like he said, the Royals offered me $100 billion and I'm here for it. No, he went to the Mets saying, I can get my money and win. Now, if the Astros had offered a third year for 140 innings in 2024 for $35 million, he's probably an Astro today. So it works both ways. I can't say that he's wrong for getting a third year because every last one of us in this room, if we were offered a pay raise and a guaranteed extra pay raise on top of that for just being there, you're not taking it to go somewhere else. Don't matter how winning your team is.
He's committed to winning, but is the Astros committed to him? That's your question, right? They weren't committed to him, what he wanted.
I'm not saying.
Had they been committed for 3 years, I think he's still here. I think that third year at $35 million was the game changer. I don't think he's probably given up the $3 million in taxes over there for whatever. You know what I mean? So
listen, I am not saying that I totally forgot my point. Hold on. I have enough alcohol in me that it's gone now. I'm not saying that I begrudge the man. I don't. I don't begrudge him for getting his bag because he does. He deserves all the money. He does. He deserves all of the money because he did. He pitched his ass off in the regular season. We're going to put that caveat in.
I agree. He deserves it too.
In asterisk,
it's just
and
what
in
he
bold,
said.
And neons. He pitched his ass off during the regular season. We will find out what happens in the postseason when we get to the Mets rotation. Okay, we're gonna get there in just a second. I don't begrudge the man for getting his bag. He does. He deserves all of the money.
Yeah.
I would take all of the money. I would take all of it, all of the money. But I would again.
That's why I'm like.
Yeah, but don't say I took this contract because I'm committed to winning when you were on the World Series champion team. I just don't like his comment. If he's leaving, go get your money. I don't care. We went to the World Series without you. You have 1 win and 10 World Series starts. Go. We don't need you.
Again,
but congratulations on getting your money. But don't say you're committed to winning because that's a lie. That's a lie.
He is committed to winning.
In the baseball. No, you're on the best team in baseball. That's committed to winning.
For me, if he went to the Marlins, if he went to the Cubs, if he went to
he was on the best team in baseball.
If he went to any of those
teams, you're committed to winning, you would stay here. You're committed to getting paid.
He's committed to both, is what he's saying.
This is why we don't talk about it on our show. We talk about this on our show.
No, we can.
We'll talk about JV for the whole 40 minutes.
Easy.
I think people like it when we don't agree. I think people like it.
This is what we're doing, folks. We're getting spicy on the podcast. This is what we like. Look again. I say I love Just for Later, and Tom, my husband is 1000% with you. Like my husband and I got into a I wouldn't say an argument, a disagreement, because he's like, "Why are you getting so mad? What is wrong with you?" I'm like, nothing's wrong with me. Why are you also not annoyed with JV? Again, I say, had he come out and said, look, I'm 40 years old, my arm not going to last forever, my body not going to last forever. I'm going to get my money while I still can. I would have much more respect. Not saying that I don't have, no, I am saying that I don't have as much respect for you because you didn't come out and say that. But I would have way more respect for you. And I think with a lot of Astros fans, he would get a lot more respect if he just came out and said that, because that's really okay. We understand that reasoning. Okay? Money talks. I get it. But to say that the commitment to win, that's why you're signing with the Mets? No, sir. You're committed to getting the bag, and let's call a spade a spade. That is the point I'm trying to make. And again, I say, I love Justin Verlander, and I don't begrudge the fact that he left the Astros for the Mets because he got his bag. He did. And he totally deserves that chance to get his bag. Right? Like, this is not Justin Verlander slander, quote unquote, per se. This is, Dom is like, fuck you, Suzy. This is totally Justin Verlander slander. That's okay.
And I'm okay with it.
This is me just saying, look, I would appreciate Justin Verlander more if he just came out and said, look, I signed with the Mets because they offered me that third year and more money.
The third year is only based on if he pitches 140 innings in year 2. So that surprises me that the Astros didn't offer him the same thing. Because the question is, can you last that long? If you sign a 3-year total, if he gets hurt in game 2, you're paying the guy for 3 years, but he's got to perform. Right. So they're really only paying him for 2, and if he continues to be as good, then they get the same guy for $35 million in year 3.
And the third
I don't know why
year
the
for me
Astros didn't do it.
100%. And the third year for me is why I'm not taking that tone. No one outside of Houston is going, oh man, he went to the Mets. They ain't gonna win. That's the dumbest thing I ever said because he left the World Series. He's going, man, he got paid and they could win. Now, again, we'll never know the details. We weren't in the room. We'll never know the whole story. All we know is what we read. All I know is what I read. So for me, if the Astros would not go to a third year, however they wanted to write it on paper, pen, whatever, all right, I got to go, and for me, when I saw that, I'm like, I got no beef with whatever he says at whatever press conference. And he was going to get a chance to earn premium money for one more year. And that's really all it boils down to me. All the whatever the little did he
the
is he gonna
semantics
win,
of it,
yeah, means nothing. Now,
okay,
I understand why you're hurt. I wanted him here too. This team was set to do it all over again. And you put Justin right at the back at the top, and then you go, good luck, guys. We went out and got Abreu and Verlander. Good friggin' luck. You ain't beating this team. Now, you could talk about it. I still don't think anybody's beating this team, but you open the door a little bit, and I understand that.
They went to the World Series without him before.
This is true. So I'm not going to say that I have like a full-on beef with him. I'm like, I say that because, like, let's say, that a full-on beef would be like Wagyu beef, right? Like, we're not, that's like that it, okay? Like, I have maybe like a T-bone beef. What's like up above, like one step above, like hamburger? I don't eat beef, so I don't, what's like one step above hamburger?
There you go.
That, I don't know, like a T-bone? I don't know. Chuck beef?
Chuck roast.
Like, there we go, chuck roast. I have like a chuck roast beef with Justin Verlander. How's that, okay? Again, I say, Justin Verlander.
I don't have a beef with him.
I love it.
I just don't like what he said. He can go. I don't care. Fair or foul.
Now,
let's do this right here. Live fair or foul. Justin Verlander, fair or foul, will stay healthy all 3 years with the Mets.
Oh.
Define healthy. Does he have to, how many innings?
Like not miss a significant amount of time because he gets hurt.
You're talking like Tommy John hurt? You're talking like calf hurt? Like every pitcher gets nicked up. I mean, that just happens.
No, like
even Framber missed a start.
Multiple starts. Multiple months.
I'm going to say.
Ooh.
Like he gets hurt in March. He gets hurt in May and he comes back in August kind of thing. I don't know. I just don't think he's going to stay healthy the whole time. I don't think so. I don't think it's going to pay off for them. Yeah. But
we're gonna talk about
if you look at our rotation, there's no need to spend all that money if you're not fully committed that this guy's going to stay healthy.
Look, I am
But if you're desperate like the Mets, you do it.
I'm 1,000% on the train of Baby JV, aka Hunter Brown. Okay, 1,000%. Hunter Brown, if you are listening for some odd reason you find this podcast, let me just tell you that right now I am 1,000% in your corner. And it is Hunter Brown's season right now. Okay. So we're gonna circle back to the Mets rotation and how old they are in just a few minutes. We're gonna circle back because I need to talk about this. But I'm gonna end here and say that Justin Verlander's numbers I do not think will be as good because of the infield of the Mets. I think that his numbers will get worse because that infield is ranked, like 15th? No, 13th in defensive runs saved versus the Astros tied at 4th. So, congratulations, JV. You got your bag. Good for you.
And there's no shift. So everybody's ERA should be worse based on that.
I don't trust Eduardo Escobar over there at third base. I just don't. Pete Alonso, Polar Bear, I love you at first. I don't trust you over there either, sir. So, we'll see. We'll see what happens during the offseason.
Rob, to answer your question, probably foul. He probably does get nicked up somewhere. But I think everybody does. It's just you're paying for what he represents. And if you get him in October, that sort of thing. I mean, clearly he's the best pitcher in baseball right now.
For the regular season, you are correct, Tom. You are correct. We will see what happens next season, obviously. I still don't think they get past the Braves, but it is what it is, whatever. So let's talk about Bell Josh Bell to the Guardians. Because that's also another guy that the Astros were reportedly in on to kind of fill our first base before we signed Jose Abreu. I think that's a great signing for the Guardians. I think the Guardians got a great middle of the lineup thump that they needed. I hope that he goes and figures out whatever magic he possesses in the first half of the season and can stretch that out past All-Star break. So that is my take on Josh Bell. Thoughts?
That's a good pickup for them because they're pretty much built to keep runs from scoring. And now they added a big bat. So I think it's a great pickup.
I think Josh Bell is going to be amazing for them. I think it provides some protection for J-Ram. J-Ram's an amazing player. Ultimate team guy, took a lesser deal to stay in Cleveland.
For sure.
Their rotation is young.
He's
and
committed to winning.
Tom is
No, he is not because they haven't won anything. He's
Tom
committed to Cleveland is what he's committed to.
Yeah.
He's not committed to winning. I don't think he said that in anything.
Yeah.
But the Guardians or the Gardos, as a buddy of mine likes to call them, they're going to be a good team. I think they're going to win that division very soon. And who knows? They could go and add somebody at the trade deadline that really puts them over the top. They're coming. They're good. They're going to be good.
I think they've got a great young squad that is committed to, I don't want to say the idea of winning, but they are committed to the idea of saying, watch what we can do, right? Because let's be really honest. When you hear the name Cleveland Guardians, are you expecting big things? No, you're not.
Didn't they
Unless
win the
you're
division
Cleveland,
last year?
right?
They were in the playoffs, didn't they?
They were in the playoffs.
I thought they won their division last year.
They did. The
did.
Twins came
Yeah.
in second. You're right.
Yeah,
You're right.
but no. But again, everybody predicted that the White Sox were going to win that division, and obviously that didn't happen.
They got worse.
Yeah, no one expected the Guardians to do what they did, right? And and the Guardians said, "Watch what we can do." And I respect the hell out of that. And I think they have that clubhouse mentality that kind of the Astros has with Dusty Baker. They were playing for Terry Francona. They wanted that dub for themselves. But along with that, we want to get this for our manager, Terry Francona. Like, they will run through walls for that man. Right? Like, and I think that is kind of I don't want to call them the quote unquote Astros light, but I mean, they have that kind of mentality and that kind of feel into their clubhouse and into their lineup is what I think, or what I feel. So, my last two that I have on my list, we're going to circle back to the Mets again, because we talked about JV. We hit on that. But last night, Saturday, the 10th of December, they signed Kodai Senga, who, for anybody that is not obsessed with baseball and doesn't follow all of the things on all of the social medias, Kodai Senga is one of the premier pitchers from the Japanese league, from Nippon Professional Baseball. And they signed him for 5 years. What was the
75,
money, Tom,
I believe it was.
75? So their 1-2-3, the Mets 1-2-3 now is tough. I won't discount that. I think there is going to be a very interesting dynamic between Max Scherzer and Justin Verlander. And I think all year long we are going to see them leapfrog one another on the strikeout.
They're going to feed off each other.
I think so.
Play together in Detroit.
Right? Is it Secretariat? Is that the movie where the horse with, like, when you put blinders on him, he didn't run as fast, but when he saw the competition, he ran faster? Is that the movie? Do y'all know what I'm talking about? No? Dang it. I asked my husband.
Sounds right.
And
I would
he just
run with
looked
it.
at me like I was insane. I was like, so I'm going to run with it. But regardless, I think that they will make each other better. I don't know how the clubhouse chemistry will work between them, because I don't think either one of the 1 and 2s between Max Scherzer and Justin Verlander will admit to the fact that they care that they're the quote unquote 1 or 2. But I think deep down they care that they're 1 or 2. Like, I think Max Scherzer is going to take offense if somebody calls Justin Verlander the 1 and vice versa.
Who gets the opening day start? Scherzer, right?
Good question.
Do you not think Justin Verlander is going to say a big fuck you when he's not the opening day starter?
I think they have to make him the starter.
No.
Yeah, I think
Scherzer's already there.
You think Verlander gets the starter for Scherzer?
I do.
No.
Ooh, hot take right here, guys. Tom from Astros Baseball Podcast.
But you know what? I think that we're probably overplaying it. I probably think they don't care. Justin is the ultimate competitor. I think Scherzer, especially coming off an injury, is probably going to default to him a little bit.
All right. So Justin Verlander, Max Scherzer, 1A, 1B, Kodai Senga as their quote unquote 3, Jose Quintana, which I totally forgot that they signed. Not going to lie. Totally. I was like, what? Looking at the Mets rotation, totally forgot that they signed Jose Quintana like 2 days ago. So their rotation will look something like interchangeably Max Scherzer, Justin Verlander, Kodai Senga, Jose Quintana, and their 5th is going to be Carlos Carrasco, or in between Jose Quintana and Carlos Carrasco, 4 and 5. I haven't dived deep into the numbers to put one above the other. I just know that 4 and 5, I don't really trust. And quite honestly, Kodai Senga, I don't know how he will do with MLB hitters.
It's a big question. You never know.
Exactly. He has something called a ghost fork pitch, which apparently is different from a splitter, which I don't quite understand, because looking at the grip, it just kind of looks like a splitter grip. So I don't know if that's just the Japanese name for the split or if it differs somehow. Do y'all know?
So from what I've heard, and I'm nobody, as far as like,
oh, you're somebody.
Oh no. But from what I've read, what I've heard is what makes it that whole ghost pitch is how long they hide it. You never see it. You never see it come out of the hand.
Okay.
And it's just like their mechanics, and then that pitch just dives off the plate. I saw a couple pictures of him, the overlay. I follow Pitching Ninja on Twitter. If you're not following him, you should, because everything pitching, that guy's amazing. They showed it's like a 98, 99 mile an hour fastball. And then they show this pitch that you're talking
83
about.
mile an hour overlay with the ghost fork.
Right.
Yeah. So again, amazing. But what makes it different than a traditional split? That's what I need Pitching Ninja to explain to me like I'm 5, because obviously I don't understand it. I don't want him to mansplain it to me. I want him to just kind of explain it to me how it differs from a regular split, because the grip that it showed on that overlay that you're talking about just kind of looks like what Ryan Stanek does with his split. But Ryan Stanek's throwing his split at like 99. So is it just the fact that it's tumbling more and it's more like a 12-6 curveball, or what? That's what I need to kind of understand. So again, I'll be interested to see how his pitches relates to MLB hitters, and if he can have the K rate that he did in Japan versus big league players. So he may be the best pickup that they got, or MLB hitters may laugh and say, "Look what I can do with this ghost fork." I don't think that it's going to be the latter.
I hope it sounds just like that when they do it.
I hope that they cut that they clip that and use that. I'm just right here, right now. That's what I hope they do. But I don't know. We'll see. But their 1-2-3. I mean, their 1-2 punch is formidable. I won't lie. Oh, let's talk about that. Did y'all see Did y'all see that ranking? Did you see the ranking, Rob? The 1 through 10 that MLB put out of 1-2 duos? When I tell you that I wanted to fight a motherfucker, I wanted to fight them. Okay? Straight up, all 5'2" of me wanted to find out whoever put that list together and fight them. That's what I wanted to do. And I sincerely wonder if they honestly thought that, or if they thought, hey, we are going to get a bunch of interaction because Astros fans are going to lose their mind that we put Framber and Christian at 10.
It's the same thing as last year when they predicted who's going to win the AL West and who's going. No one, everybody picked the Angels. Most people picked the Mariners, but they didn't pick the Astros. But maybe they did it just to get reaction, like you said. I never thought about it.
I'm going to hope and pray that that's what they did, because the fact that Christian Javier is not getting the respect put on his motherfucking name.
How do you think Lance McCullers Jr. feels not, to be left out of that 1-2 punch?
Okay, here. I'm picking my words very carefully right now. Right now, I'm picking my words very carefully because I, as a person, love LMJ as a person and as a leader in the clubhouse. And as a pitcher. But do you notice where I put pitcher in that list of things that I loved about Lance McCullers?
We haven't heard it yet. We're waiting for you to say pitcher.
I just said pitcher. I just, as a person first, leader in the clubhouse second,
sexy
and
hair,
pitcher third.
The best hair.
Best hair. We're not talking about hair. If he was like I like to quote one of my favorite women in baseball podcasts, No Crying in Baseball, he has great QHAR. Okay, that's quality hair above replacement. And that is copyrighted.
I have a 0.0 on that.
Okay. He's got great hair. I do not put that past him. The man has got the drip. He has got the lettuce. He's got all of it. But as a quote unquote pitcher, he's not the second. He's not the number 2 in the rotation. And I whisper that because Astros fans are going to come for me. And we all know this. Astros fans are going to come for me because they're like, you're not putting the respect on LMJ's name. And to
you don't
that
know how
I
good
say,
he can be. He's never healthy.
To that I say, can I remind you that there were two no-hitters that Christian Javier was a part of? One against the storied New York Yankees, and I put that in quotes for all of my people that are not watching on YouTube's. He threw a no hitter against the New York Yankees, and then won in the World Motherfucking Series. I'm going to have to make a TikTok on putting the respect on Christian Javier's name. But on the other hand, maybe I don't want all of y'all to know how amazing Christian Javier and his Invisible is so that y'all keep underestimating him. Okay? So I see both sides of the coin.
He had that long streak, too, where he didn't allow any runs. The only knock on him is that he throws a lot of pitches and he can't get very deep into the game.
Exactly.
So he taxes the bullpen. But he gets, luckily, the bullpen came through on those 2 no-hitters he has.
Look, I think with the work that Framber Valdez is sports psychologist, and I'm very sorry that I don't actually know your name, sir. I should, because I watched a whole thing of YouTube on you. I think that with some work, I think Christian Javier can go deeper into games. And I think the fact that we did not sign JV back and Christian moves into the rotation and Hunter Brown moves into the role of swingman, I think Christian Javier, if you don't already know his name, you're going to learn his name this season. For the casuals in the game that don't follow the Astros, you're going to learn. You're going to learn. Astros fans, don't come for me. That Christian Javier is going to be the number 2. That's what I believe. I honestly believe that Framber is the ace. Christian Javier is the 2, and Lance McCullers, I love you so very, very much. You have an adorable daughter, and you are an amazing clubhouse presence, but you are the number 3 at this point in time.
Well, the person that made that graphic believes the same thing, so why get mad?
I'm mad that they're ranked 10th. That the fact that freaking Aaron Nola and Zach Wheeler was ranked 5th, and that Fromber and Christian was ranked 10th. That's what I have a problem with.
Ben Dubose had the perfect tweet. He quoted it and he goes, "If only we had a sample size of those 2 duos going against each other at the highest level, then maybe we would know who's better than one or the other." Talking about, the Phillies and the Astros, it was just perfect. It was like, well, how can you argue that, sir?
Exactly. Exactly. And so MLB, whoever put that ranking together, thank you for getting me fired up. That's apparently what you expected to do, because they put Clayton Kershaw and Julio Urias above that lineup, and I want to fight a motherfucker. That's what I want to do.
They probably just don't know Javier is.
They don't. And again, I say maybe we just want you to keep sleeping on Javi so that no one sees him coming. Fire me up. Anyways.
Will these so-called experts pick the Astros to win the World Series again?
Well, Vegas has them at the top odds of winning the World Series again. So it's us and Dodgers. I think the Astros were like plus 500 odds, and Dodgers were like plus 600 odds, I think. So
the Dodgers and all these guys, the other teams are spending money. The National League is going to be fun.
National League is going to be delightful. And I think we can spend an entire podcast talking about how the Mets are spending $9 bajillion, and yet I still think the Braves are the best. Well, I say that. No. I do. I think I put more faith in the Braves pitching rotation, than I do the Phillies rotation.
The Braves did a hell of a job. They did a great job spending their money. They got everybody at reasonable prices. They did not wait till the end of the year. They did not pay sticker price for any of their guys, and they're just in a great spot. The Braves are in a really good spot to be right back where they should be, going up toe to toe with whoever in the NLCS.
1,000%. 1,000%. So those are the free agents that kind of signed. We went over the list. Notable free agents that have not signed yet. We all know that there's 2 big position players and 1 big pitcher left out on the board. Carlos Correa, Dansby Swanson, and Carlos Rodon. Do you think Carlos Correa will sign for the amount of money that he wants? Number 1. And for the contract term that he wants. Number 2. That is the first question.
He's going to get more years and more money than he wanted.
Interesting. Tom, you're nodding your head yes?
I believe he's probably going to get the number that he thought he was worth the whole time, that somebody could have got him for last year, because of the way this year went down. Because there are so many teams that are starving for premium players that have money to spend that struck out on other premium players.
Like the Giants. The Giants, they threw money at Judge. They got a couple other guys. They got Haniger and Jock Peterson, but they haven't landed that big fish.
So
and I think they're going to get him, or Greg Lucas said maybe the Red Sox, because he lost Bogarts. But are they willing to pay that much? Who knows?
So the Red Sox point, I think if you're not willing to spend the money on Xander Bogaerts, that you are not willing to spend that money on Carlos Correa.
Yeah.
So I think that the fact that they didn't pay Xander just knocks the Red Sox out completely. I do, however, think that the Giants sign Carlos, because
who else could it be beside the Giants?
Well, the Padres are just throwing money at whoever. So, the Padres just want to sign all of the great players to wherever, because apparently they think that, if they sign great players, they can just move players willy-nilly and they will be good at whatever positions.
I'll give you 2 clubs that I think are going to be players in this whole thing before it's all said and done. The
Don't
Braves,
say the Cubs. Don't say the Cubs.
I'm going to say them. The Braves do not have a shortstop. Dansby Swanson is a free agent. If
Do you
the
think Dansby goes to the Dodgers?
I do, because they can't touch Correa, and they said they won't. So what does that leave them, realistically speaking, unless they go with something from within? I feel like the Dodgers are a lot like the Yankees, and they feel like they have to do something for their fan base to sell Dodger Blue. They have to go spend money
The
on
fans
somebody.
don't want them.
Gavin Lux is going to fight you, okay? Put some respect on. No, I'm just kidding. Gavin Lux, you're not.
Gavin
You are
Lux
not in the
plays-
same. You are not in the same stratosphere as Carlos Correa or Dansby Swanson. Okay, it's another thing.
Not only that, Gavin Lux plays like every position except pitcher. So they'll put him somewhere. It's not like Gavin Lux is like, I don't know if I'm gonna play or not. He'll be out there somewhere. But I believe that because the Dodgers struck out on Trey Turner, because they still have to go win in the NL, which everyone's loading up. They have to go get somebody. You just feel like they could be a player on Rodon. I could see that too. But I think they need shortstop. I think Dansby makes sense. So that opens up the Braves. That opens up the Braves to do something. I also think the Cubs want to do something. I don't know why. It doesn't make any sense. They could have just paid Contreras. They chose not to, which is kind of an indictment on Contreras if you think about it. But the Cubs were in on him last year. The Cubs are supposedly in on him again. And they were dumb to not sign him last year because they probably could have got him cheaper than they're going to have to get him now, because you look at the deals that X and Trey signed, and you have to go over that. He's younger than both of them.
Yeah, and he's a better player. He's a better player. He's a better ball player. So I think the Giants go and get Correa, which moves Brandon Crawford somewhere. Where do you think Brandon Crawford lands? What position do you think Brandon Crawford moves to? Because he's what, the last year of his contract? So again, I obviously don't know or have that much understanding in baseball clubhouse hierarchy, but I feel like Brandon Crawford being in the last year of his contract, being a player that has been in the league and on the Giants for a number of years, maybe he swallows his pride and says, okay, I'm going to move somewhere so that the team will be better. But I think, I don't know Brandon Crawford, and I don't know him personality wise, but I think that's got to sting a little bit, right? Like even if you know that Carlos Correa is a superior ball player than you, it's got to sting a little bit to your pride, because he's getting up in there in years.
If you care about winning, you shouldn't care. If your team goes out and get the best player they can, play second base. Carlos can play third, whatever. Put him on there. You got to get the best people you can.
This episode of Bourbon and Baseball will now be titled "Care About Winning."
The one where we talk about all of the titles. Care about winning.
Yes. With Rob and Tom.
Yes, that may or may not be the title. You'll be surprised when it comes out. You'll see. Where do you think Brandon Crawford plays?
I think he sits in a similar position that Yuli Gurriel will sit in. It'll be, do you want to be somebody? Because I believe Brandon Crawford can play all over the infield. So would you want to be that utility guy, the super utility guy that plays sparingly but still has a role? Or do you want to go chase one more starting job, middle of the road contract, something like that? Clearly Crawford is not the guy that you want to build your franchise around at this point in his career. He's just going to fit in somewhere as like a final piece, or like I said, like a utility guy.
Because of Correa, Bregman moved to third. Because of Bregman, Yuli moved to first. So if you want to win, play where you got to play. Get the best team out there.
That's true. That's true. So let me see here. So we've got.
If you care about winning.
There it is.
Episode 18 brought to you by the words, "If you care about winning." So let's see. We've got Brandon Crawford at short. Third base, they have David Villar. I don't obviously know who David VR is because I do not watch that much Padres. So Padres fans, I need you to sound off. Is Brandon Crawford moving to third base for David VR to move somewhere else? Because as of right now, the depth chart for the San Francisco Giants is Joey Bart as catcher, Lamont Wade Jr. as first, Tyro Estrada at second, David VR at third, Brandon Crawford at short, Jock Peterson at left, Mike Yastrzemski at center. Rob is just throwing out all kinds of hot takes.
If Correa is committed to winning, he might not want to go there. Where would you want to go if you're Correa? You'd want to go to the Dodgers, right? That's the best chance of winning.
No, sir. If Correa was what wanted to win, then he would have just stayed here.
That's true.
All right, like let's be honest. Thankfully, Correa said, "I'm gonna go get my bag." Jeremy Pena, it is your time to shine. It is Jeremy Pena season. # blessed. Okay, that is what Carlos Correa said. Carlos Correa said, "I'm gonna go get my bag." That is what he said. Again, I don't begrudge the man. He's getting his generational wealth. 1,000% understand. Do you think? But I've heard that though the Twins are like, "Hey, guess what? We want you. We want you back, Carlos Correa. We're going to pay you the money." I mean,
forgot about
because because Buxton, when he's healthy, is an amazing player. When he's healthy, he's not an amazing player. Tom, I see you shaking your head over there.
The when he's healthy part. That's the most injured guy in the history of ever. Like, Verlander's probably going to play more games than Brian Buxton will next season because that guy's always hurt.
That's fair. That is fair.
He has ruined fantasy teams for me. He's dead to me. Always hurt.
I will give you that. I will give you that. I will say that we are putting when he's healthy in asterisks and quotations and in bold and in neon print. When Bryce Buxton is healthy, golly, y'all, I've had a lot of alcohol and I'm very, very sorry. That
bourbon looked like it was pretty good. It went down pretty smooth.
It did. Especially when I drank a Bloody Mary intermingled with the sips of bourbon. So it did. It went down smoother. So apparently that is the trick. I need to drink a Bloody Mary in between sips of bourbon. That may not work actually for the upcoming seasons or for the upcoming episodes. Anyways, Byron Buxton. There we go. Words are hard. When healthy, is an amazing player, and I think Carlos Correa on the Twins put butts in seats for the Twins. Do I think that he will also do that for the Giants? Because let's be really honest, no one is coming to watch the Giants for Mitch Haniger. Right? No one is coming to the Giants to watch Mitch Haniger and Jock Peterson. No. If the Giants sign Carlos Correa, and hell, even Carlos Rodon, that will be a more fun team to watch. Notice I did not say a winning team. That's not what I said. I said that would be a more fun team to watch. I think Carlos Rodon is going to get his bag this season because he sat back and he watched all of the other teams sign all the pitchers and he said, guess what? I'm going to get my bag. Those are my thoughts. Rob, what are you you were shaking your head, Rob. What are you thinking?
What was the question?
I like that Rob's like, I wasn't actually shaking my head at what Suzy is saying. I just wanted to shake my head. That's what I thought.
Oh, I was going to say one of the reasons you go watch the Giants is because of the stadium. You could put butts in the seats because it's like the most beautiful place to watch a game ever.
I told my husband that I want to go. I don't even really care about the Giants. One, I do care because they have orange in their team colors, and I am partial to orange. So yes, they have a beautiful stadium, and I will 1,000% go to the stadium just for the stadium.
I went and watched the Astros play the Giants, and I wore my orange jersey. And this Astro fan came up to me and he goes, "What are you doing wearing orange?" Because I guess the Giants are orange too. What are you doing wearing orange? And the team comes out wearing orange. And I'm like, where is this guy? I'm wearing what the team's wearing, you jerk.
The
wanna
Giants
fight
are like
you.
black and orange. Like the same with the Orioles. Black and orange are their quote unquote main colors. Like I could see if you were at the Giants park, maybe you'll wear some navy blue. I don't know. I will still be rocking my orange because that is my favorite color overall. But if you're wearing the orange in the Giants park, you may think, which team are you going for? Orioles or Astros? But regardless, I think the Giants sign.
I wore the jerseys
Carlos
that the
Correa.
team I was rooting for was wearing at the time.
Do you think that the Giants are going to sign Carlos Correa?
I think I read something that, like, one of the major sports writers wrote that the way things are going, Carlos Correa is probably going to get $400 million. That's where I got that number. That's what he said.
I don't think so. But that wasn't the question, Rob. The question is, do you think Carlos Correa is signing with the Giants?
Yes.
Okay. So you think he's signing with the Giants, and you think
Because
that the
I
Giants
think they're
are going
to give him more money
$400
than
million?
anyone else will.
Okay, that is fair. Tom,
I believe he's going to sign with the Giants for that reason. Also, I can't see anybody getting $400 million to play shortstop for the San Francisco Giants. That just seems ridiculous to me. Yeah, I feel like they are bidding against other teams. I just don't think they're bidding against other teams to that degree. I think anybody that offers him 10 years and $330 million is going to get him easy. You know, if you offered him 10 years and $300 million before Trey Turner and X, you probably would have got him. Now he's over there looking across the street going, I'm better than those guys. So you're probably going to have to pay whatever that premium is. The question is, if he really wants to win, why doesn't he sign with the Yankees? I caught her mid-sip, folks, for those who aren't watching YouTube. And you should go watch the YouTube because it's worth it for that reaction to that part. Just that.
For my silence break, that is brought to you by the words Yankees and Carlos Correa put together by Tom of Astros Baseball Podcast. Don't come for us, Astros fans. Don't come for Bourbon and Baseball Podcast. No. You come for Tom from Astros Baseball Podcast, okay? Tom and Rob. I'm not going to throw Rob under the bus. I'm going to throw Tom under the bus. Sir.
Ma'am.
What are we doing here, Tom? What are we doing? No.
This show is brought to you by his commitment to winning.
If Correa has a commitment to winning, he should go to the Dodgers because they lost their shortstop. But our fans don't want him, so we're not going to sign him. That's dumb.
Let's be really
You're going to build your team based on your fans. The fans are every team is forgiven every player that goes to their team.
The Dodgers
because they change uniform.
The Dodgers have.
They'll forgive him when he starts producing. When he starts flashing that leather, they're like, "Whoa, I hate this guy, but I'm sure glad we got him." They're not going to boo him.
I 1,000% think that they're going to boo him. This podcast brought to you by the fact that Tom is going to burn it to the ground on Not His Home podcast. That's what we're doing here right now. Tom says, "You know what? I'm not going to torpedo my own broadcast. That's not. No, we're not going to do that. We're going to.
You guys are more than welcome to come to Astros Baseball Podcast and hear the same thing. I will not waver. If Carlos Correa cares about winning, that's where he needs to go. Now, do I think he cares about winning? No, because he left Houston for the bag. I think he's after the bag. That is firm. Now, the Dodgers care about their egos, so they're not committed to winning. If they were committed to winning, they'd sign Carlos Correa because he's the best shortstop available.
That's true.
That's
true. But I think the Dodgers
to put a bow on all of it, if the owners and the players cared about winning, they go where they needed to go, but they won't because they care about their money. So that's how we're here.
That's true. Rob, what were your thoughts on that?
On Correa, where he's gonna? I was just talking about the Dodgers. How it said like the fans, they don't want to sign Correa because of the fans are still upset that they stole a World Series from him. So I guess that would go for the Yankees as well. Minnesota's in on him.
Here's my thing for the Dodgers. I think they are using that as a convenient excuse that a lot of people will say, oh yeah, that is plausible. I think that they are using that as an excuse to save their money for Shohei Ohtani next season. Those are my feelings. I think that they are going to kind of make you look that direction of, we're not going to spend the money this season because why are we going to sign Carlos Correa? Do you not remember 2017? Duh, guys, come on now. So that their fan base will not get mad at them for not making the big moves, so that next season they can sign Shohei Ohtani. That's my thoughts. I think Carlos Correa to the Giants for $9 gajillion for 9,000 years. That's the prediction. That's
I bet
where
he
we're
gets
going to go.
12 years. You said he was younger than the other guys. They got 11 years. Why wouldn't he get 12?
That's true. I don't know. I honestly don't care. Correa, go get your bag. Shout out to you for leaving the Astros so Jeremy Pena can take your shoes. That's all I care about. So those are the free agents that have not signed yet. Carlos Correa, Dansby Swanson. Oh, we didn't talk about Dansby Swanson because, quite honestly, Dansby Swanson, I love you. However, I don't think you're in the stratosphere of Carlos Correa, and I don't know where you sign. I honestly think Dansby Swanson going to the Dodgers to kind of go back to the Freddie Freeman, Dansby Swanson kind of partnership. But there's been rumors that Dansby Swanson will sign with the Cubs because his wife is a Chicago women's soccer player. An amazing soccer player, I think. I don't follow soccer, so I don't know. But
football.
Those are the rumors. But I think the Dodgers are going to take a flyer on Dansby Swanson because, let's be really honest, who the F trusts Gavin Lux at shortstop? Not me. Anyways, so that's going to wrap up the free agent talk. But we have to talk about Goldilocks balls because that's just a huge story that nobody's talking about, right? And I like that the convenient timing that they threw in, that they were going to break the story during the winter meetings while everyone's like, where's that Aaron Judge signing? Oh my gosh, is he going to go to the Giants? Is he going to go to the Padres? No, he's going to the Yankees. Let's just throw in this story about doctored balls in all of this, but that nobody talks about it. That's what I would like to talk about. Thoughts?
Why did they admit it now? How'd that come out?
MLB did not admit it. MLB flat out said that Dr. Meredith Wills, not so many words, is a filthy liar. And that she doesn't know what the F she's talking about.
She was on Bleacher Blums talking about this.
She was on Bleacher Blums. So if you guys don't follow this, follow Dr. Meredith Wills on Twitter. I will link her Twitter in the bio. It's not Dr. Meredith Wills, but if you search it on Twitter, you will find her. It's like, but she's a physicist. She's an astrophysicist, and she has run all of the scientific experiments on these balls that have gotten sent to her. And I need you to understand how ridiculously hard it is for me to be an adult about this and not make some dirty joke about balls. Anyways, she has talked about the weight of these balls and how they are constructed for a couple of years now, that the balls have been different over a couple of different seasons, that these balls that the players have thrown out essentially have been different, and that MLB has come out and said, no, there are two different versions of balls, but this season there should only be one in play. And MLB flat out came out and said, hey, if anybody is helping Meredith Wills, you will be subject to fines and possibly losing your job. So the fact
we don't like the truth.
Yeah. The fact that MLB has come out and threatened people with their livelihood is just astounding to me. Because the MLB owns Rawlings, who makes the baseballs, who makes the balls that go into play for the entire league that contracts are based off of. Blows my mind that not more people are talking about this and are outraged.
So if you asked me, I would tell you that the reason, and I'm answering, The reason that they're not trying to make this a thing is because this looks like they were trying to aid in a home run chase. If you go further, if you go into the details where these balls were used, it looks like, and I mean, if you just saw the graph that was posted or whatever, they were predominantly used at Yankee Stadium. So who was trying to?
This is my shocked face, Tom. That Rob Manfred,
Noted Yankee fan,
would somehow manipulate the results of MLB. What? You don't say. If people did not understand my sarcasm in this is me being super sarcastic about Rob Manfred and these quote-unquote Goldilocks balls. I will link all of the articles in the episode description below so that you guys can kind of understand what we're talking about if you don't already. But essentially, Meredith Wills did a ton of testing on a lot of baseballs that were sent to her over a period of time that were used in the chase that Aaron Judge had with the home run derby, not home run derby, excuse me, the home run chase that he had over the season, and was found that there was a quote-unquote Goldilocks balls, which was not too heavy, not too light, and that essentially there were 3 balls in play during this season. And how this does not enrage all of MLB and all of MLB fans is beyond me, because I had a lot of words. And not all of them can be said on this podcast.
I think it's really simple. It's okay to cheat as long as you're not the Astros. And if you're the Astros, then you're dirty cheaters. And if you cheat outside of that, the court of public opinion will decide. And, steroids,
but heaven forbid.
Yeah.
And let me be very clear that the Astros weren't quote unquote caught cheating. The Astros were snitched on. And the only reason that y'all have any sort of excuse to come after Astros fans is because of Mike Ferris. That's the only reason. That he came out and said, "Oh yeah, this is what we're doing." We're not going to get on that high horse. We're not going to go over there because we all know that a lot of teams were doing a lot of different things. Maybe not to the level of the Astros. I will caveat that. But a lot of teams were doing a lot of shady things, and the Astros got thrown under the bus because of one particular player. So we did not quote unquote get caught. We got snitched on. And that is my hot take. That is
and
like
Manfred
one
and the
of
Yankees got caught.
43. Yeah. So these Goldilocks balls, y'all. These Goldilocks balls should not. Is crazy. It's absolutely crazy, and the fact that no major outlet is talking about these Goldilocks balls and the study is mind-boggling to me.
I Googled the story right now, and Verlander's one of them that pointed it out. He was warming up in a game against the Yankees, and he went over to one of the Major League Baseball officials and said, "When are you going to fix these baseballs?" Like, he could tell that there was a difference.
Yeah. I mean, when there are pitchers in the game that are throwing multiple balls out between pitches, between them throwing, you know that there's something going on. And for MLB to just flat out say, "Oh, no, nothing fishy going on here." I'm sorry, what now? When the actual players that this is their livelihood, this is what their contract numbers depend on, are coming out and saying, no, we're not, I'm not going to throw that because that's something is wrong with this ball. How do you expect me to not believe that? That blows my mind.
The pitchers know. Chris Bassett said, "We have a very big problem with the balls. They're bad. Everyone knows it. Every pitcher in the league knows it." The pitchers know it.
Yeah. Yeah. So I don't, and there is no answer to this, and there will never be an answer to this because MLB will never actually admit to any sort of wrongdoing or any sort of manipulation of the ball. But the fact that they can deaden the balls or lighten the balls, depending on manufacturing, it just is beyond me. And the fact that MLB owns the company that manufactures the balls that are in play should be a clear sign of, maybe that's not something that MLB should own. But, whatever.
I can't remember the name of the book, but I was talking to this guy about coming on the podcast, and he wanted me to read his book first. So I was reading it, and it was pretty much like Major League Baseball is the mafia. Like, you go after them, it's bad. You don't want to go. I didn't finish the book, but because the guy was all full of himself. But I was like, wow. But what it is the guy was a policeman, and he got a job working for Major League Baseball to find cheating and different things going on. And he's like, hey, these guys are smuggling these Cubans in this boat. They're taking the bonus checks from these guys, like in the Dominican. And they're like, okay, well, we'll take care of it. Okay, don't look into it any further. We'll take care of it. So what he was saying is everything that he found that was bad going on, they would just sweep it under the rug. So he was like, what am I doing?
Wasn't Yasiel Puig part of that?
Yeah.
I think Yasiel Puig is part of that, which I feel bad for Yasiel Puig because unfortunately the fact that he got caught with like all of the gambling issues and whatnot totally negates his claims to all of this, unfortunately, which I don't necessarily not believe, because that's the Cubans and all of the things that they have to do to defect and try and not get caught and all of that. There's some crazy stories about Yuli and Lourdes and Jordan and all of the Cuban players defecting and hiding and whatnot. That's a whole other podcast. But y'all, we have been talking for an hour and 49 minutes. It's a long time. It's a long time that we.
I know my rear end is starting to hurt. I'm at the kitchen table, and yeah. Oh,
bless
I
it,
see
Rob.
me shifting around. If you're on YouTube and you're still listening and watching, folks,
most people.
My badonkadonk is starting to hurt.
I like the fact that Rob just threw out badonkadonk. That we're gonna clip that, Rob. The fact that you just said badonkadonk, that's impressive. So we are gonna end it here, guys. I will link all of the articles and whatnot that we have talked about the Goldilocks balls and all the free agent signings in the description. Rob and Tom, why don't you guys tell us where we can find y'all? 1, 2, 3, go, Rob.
Me?
Yes,
you can
Rob.
find me on everything imaginable with my name, Rob Fontenot.
Let's
at
spell
Rob
that for the
Fontenot on
people.
Twitter. My name's Robert Fontenot on Facebook. I have Instagram, but I hardly get on it. But
ROBFON.
Oh, ROBFONTENOT.
See, there's a silent N there there's a silent T there that's gonna mess you all up. So on all the socials, you can follow Rob there, and then Tom, where can we find you?
On Twitter, it's at Third Coast Tom, and it's spelled out. On Instagram, it's TCT or TC Tom 1. And then obviously, please follow the podcast, Astros Baseball Pod on Twitter. Correct, Rob?
I started that, but nobody follows us.
That's a good. I will link all of the socials in the description so that you guys can follow Rob and Tom, because they are amazing. And when Shelby and I first started this podcast, Rob was one of the first ones that kind of talked to us and said, hey, come on the podcast. And I was a guest host over there, and that kind of got us started and rolling with followers and listeners and whatnot. So a big thank you to Rob and Tom for all of that. I will link all of the socials in the description so that you guys can follow Rob and Tom. They're super guys. And this wraps up the 18th episode. Woo! We're going to do the cheering. There you go. That wraps up the 18th episode of Bourbon and Baseball. Rob and Tom, I appreciate y'all pinch hitting for Shelby while she is in Vegas, and she has deserted me, but she hopefully, fingers crossed, will be back next week. Y'all go follow Rob and Tom and listen to the Astros Baseball Podcast, because they are also amazing guys. notably with less cussing and less liquor on their podcast.
Zero liquor, and we throw a cuss word out now and then.
Yeah,
A few ones.
But again,
I got to get fired up to throw it out there, though.
If you like the cussing and you like the drinking, come over here to Bourbon and Baseball. If you like, a little bit less cussing, totally okay. Go follow Rob and Tom. Regardless, on their podcast, AstrosBaseballPodcast, and on all of the socials. And until next time, guys, we appreciate y'all. Follow, like, subscribe, review, all of the things. And until next time, we will see you guys later. Thanks, guys. Have a good night. Bye.